he, him pronouns. This is a game called The Pack. We are playing on the Gauntlet. The Pack is a game about dogs, mostly dogs, maybe a cat or two, domestic dogs and cats who wake up one day to find that their humans are gone and are living in the post-apocalypse. This is a belonging outside of belonging game, which means we are playing GMless. And it is a playtest. This is a game of my own design that we are working out some of the kinks on. And some of us have taken quite a keen interest in doing that, and I am grateful. I have talked to the players about safety tools in our first session. We're playing with 3. We're playing with X card. We're playing with lines and veils, and we're playing with open table. And that's all I got. I'm wondering if we should do quick character recaps and then talk about where things left off. So, Lowell, can I start with you? You are
absolutely muted. So I am playing Sparky, the safety dog, and I'm a Dalmatian, which means there is basically nothing between my ears. But I'm a very good-looking dog, and I do have kind of a harder goal, but I have some regrets about not being the center of attention and everybody fawning over me because I'm ever so cute with my little jaunty hat. And I tried to help out last time, and I may have gotten distracted during the process of helping out, and I may not have listened to the cat or my friend Oatmeal, but I tried to be Oatmeal's support network last time a little bit. So that's who I am.
Thanks. David, you want to go?
Yeah, I am playing Oatmeal, who uses the Thief playbook. He is a scrappy little Italian greyhound who has a bit of an overinflated sense of his own intelligence. He fancies himself to be a bit of a mastermind, the brains of the operation. And he's also a little bit probably more high-strung and perfectionistic than is healthy. It's just now occurring to me that I somehow managed to put a self-insert character into a talking dog role-playing game, so this is great. But anyway, that's Oatmeal. He had a lovely time in the last session, being fleeced by a cat, and only barely escaping by the skin of his teeth from a canary that surely was out for blood. And that's basically Oatmeal in a nutshell.
Perfect, thank you. I'll go next, and then we'll do Jane. So I'm playing Scallop. She uses the Stray playbook. She is a mutt. She was a rescue dog, but her owners, who were retirees, passed away, and no one took her in. So she was basically living on the beach, hunting small rodents in the nearby forest, and got really good at hiding from stuff. She seems to be emerging as the wise one in the group, which is not necessarily how I thought of her, but I like where she's going with that, just because she knows the neighborhood really well, and she's learned a thing or two on the streets. That is Scallop. Jane, you were considering switching characters.
I am not. I was gonna go ahead and stay with Davy, who may switch genders to explain kind of why I idolize Scallop so much, but we'll see. I figure that's flexible if I want it to be.
Totally.
She's still a very, she is, they are still a very young dog, so maybe still figuring that out. I think I'm playing the sport. She's all full of enthusiasm, and I'm still finding her a little bit. So she used to be, she was a very outdoorsy sort of dog, hunting, fishing, swimming, lots of swimming. And last time I rescued a fox friend who I think ought to join our pack.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I have added a picture and a name.
Sweet. Volpe. I'm going to screen share since we can. Yeah, I was going to ask for some quick memories of last time. There it is. Jane, you want to go first? What else? What else do you recall from last time?
Well, I definitely recall that Marmalade was wonderfully snotty and beautifully played, a character that you played beautifully, Dan. Marmalade very much wanted our ever so intelligent pair, Oatmeal and Sparky, to get her a meal, basically. And in return, she told them how to get into a house. But she didn't end up getting what she wanted. And I believe it ended up with Sparky tangled in a curtain and Oatmeal fleeing across the yard.
Of course. Yes. That was great. And then, David, what do you remember from last time? What were highlights?
In addition to that, I recall the scene in which Scallop and Davy, I believe, were kind of patrolling the forest and came across Volpe, the fox, who was, I want to say, trapped, and was about to be preyed upon by this great predator that was in the forest, and they barely escaped, kind of by the skin of their teeth. I'm trying to remember, did we actually reveal what the great predator was? Was it we don't know exactly. That was the part that I was missing.
There were some smell descriptions and like a big looming shape. We weren't sure if it was a bear or the mountain lion or what, or if it was anything.
Right. Rumors abound, but we don't know at this point.
Yes.
Okay. So that, in addition to everything that Jane mentioned, is my recollection. Yeah, if I may, I have a question. I was looking at the character keeper here, and I saw under settings, the wandering survivor is kind of one of the things you can take. Would Volpe the fox count as that?
Sure. I think that's fair. I acknowledge that there are some overlaps, like Volpe might also be encroaching natural world, but I don't have a strong opinion as to how any of us end up playing him.
Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, that's basically my recollection of the game. Thank you.
Lowell, any highlights for you?
Well, actually, it does suggest that Davy and Scallop ought to get a token for having helped Volpe. And I just noticed that there are some environmental token generating things.
Yeah, I'll take it.
The other interesting thing, I think, was when we went into the house, there was the music that was happening there that we thought was people, and we kind of explored that. And the whole fact that there was that clearly Oatmeal and Sparky weren't keen on just handing over this poor caged bird to Marmalade, and in a very indirect and not very clever way, we managed to save the bird.
You liberated the bird.
Liberated, maybe not saved, liberated the bird. Yeah.
My highlight from last time remains this map that we all made together, but mostly Jane. And I think there are interesting opportunities. I believe we are making our den in the rec center, but there's this other kind of more luxurious beach house that I don't think any of us had visited or been a part of. And then there's the swimming hole that's connected to the ocean. And I don't remember if we had any details about the swimming hole. And then, of course, the cats, the group of cats. It's unclear whether Marmalade belongs to that group of that clan of cats or not, and what their relationship is to the great beast in there. So those are some things that I remember from last time. I wonder, does anyone have any scenes that they want to play? I think we sort of ended on a cliffhanger. I didn't catch it in my notes, but what I do remember is Davy and Scallop, we arrived back at the den and Marmalade was there. Did I get that right? So if we're doing some idle dreaming, in the words of
I think I have some a mouthful of fox right now is where we left it too. Like the fox is physically in my mouth. So I feel like that's maybe something we need to address.
Yeah, probably deal with that right away. Other scenes that we'd like to see play out?
I think maybe dumb but industriously Sparky attempting to like pull a comforter or a big throw pillow out of that house and back to thing, like working at it, like that's got it in his head that's going to be the thing that saves us, is this comforter.
This is my job and I'm going to do it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
got it.
And finding oatmeal.
At some point down the line, I think that Oatmeal, if not this session, then in the future, needs to have a battle of wits against Marmalade. I think that Marmalade is the kind of cat to hold grudges, and I think that Oatmeal cannot stand the thought of any other creature, much less a cat, being any more clever than him. So this is a classic unstoppable force, immovable wall kind of scenario, and we need to see how it plays out.
Love that. Princess Bride style battle of wits is what I'm imagining.
And he is absolutely not Wesley. Oatmeal is not. He has no sense of composure.
Hasn't built up a immunity to iocane powder.
Also, at some point this session, I would just really like to go splash in the water. Just as a thing that I would like to go do.
What do you think motivates Davy to go for a swim? I mean, other than the fact that they're a dog.
That's a good question. Let me think about what. I mean,
Gulls.
Gulls is a good one. I mean, if it were some sort of contest, I think that would definitely sort of play into the sport archetype. I would be like, he's dirty, but I kind of don't imagine Davy cares if he's dirty that much.
And as a aside or related to that, this is a mechanic that I added. They're sort of like lures from the original version of Belonging Outside of Belonging, but I think there's more to them, or at least there's more of them. So other dogs can gain a token when they ask you or when they do something with you. So I think challenging you to perform a difficult physical feat might be something that can get you in the water too. Anything else? That's great. I definitely love the idea of you going swimming and maybe dragging Marmalade in with you. I don't know. This poor cat. Any other scenes that you want to see play out?
As long as there are goals involved, I will be completely unable to resist trying to steal something shiny from a goal nest and having the whole flock take after me.
Yeah, I love that. I'm also wondering if we can amp that up a bit and maybe discover that the cats have collected something that we feel would be useful to us. And so we stage a heist, masterminded by Oatmeal maybe, to go steal something from the cats. Does that sound like something we'd be okay doing?
I wonder if we want, I like this idea of seagulls and like, can we kind of, what if they're another neighboring enclave?
Love it.
Like we said that we weren't going to do birds talking, but somehow like gulls seem a more order of magnitude more intelligent than canaries.
Yeah. I love that. I like, yeah, we should go maybe take part of this session to go explore neighboring enclave.
There should be like a little pier, and that's probably where they have their little enclave set up with whatever is left on the pier or boats that are washed up by it.
If we wanted to bring them closer and make the conflict more pressing, they could be nesting on the roofs of the rec center.
Ooh.
Let it-
which they could poop on us.
Oh yeah.
And that would be plenty to incite, turf warfare, dog battles.
Oh, I love where that's going. Just as we look at the map, any other ideas, any other things we want to deal with? We had talked about maybe a scarcity of prey, which might draw us deeper into the forest or into the ocean to look for fish. And I could also see us maybe going into some of these houses again, or a different house, or to get some stuff for our
The scarcity of prey might also lure us to the swimming hole if fish have begun to kind of go that direction. That could be something that we might be trying to do, is jump in there and wrangle I don't know what kind of fish would be in the swimming hole, but one of those.
I feel like with the big scary thing in the forest, we're going to reveal a little bit each time and maybe bring that to a close in our last session, or maybe encounter it in our last session. Or do we want to go all out earlier in this arc? Do we want to encounter it sooner is what I'm getting at.
I think we've got enough low-key stuff to occupy our daily lives for a little while before the big predator. That's at least my feel.
Yeah, I like building up to it, like it's lurking. So
Like a big cliffhanger reveal on the second to last session or something like that, maybe.
Good.
One thing I wouldn't mind is see, maybe not tonight, but in the future, we've got that Remnants of Civilization setting playbook. It would be interesting, kind of tied to my backstory, if maybe one of these small houses actually, because it's been sitting there alone, maybe something catches fire. And we see a fire there, and it's kind of like it's not something we've had to deal with. But I don't know where that would go, but that's just an idea.
I like it. And actually, while we're on the setting playbooks, one is obviously the devastation itself. Do we want to touch that, or do we want to stay away from? Are the dogs maybe not super curious about where the humans ended up? Any strong opinions?
I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. I'm just at a loss for how that could be incorporated, I guess. I think that's the one part of the source material that I just don't have a lot of, just not much of a sense of how I would go about working with that, I guess, playbook.
Yeah, that's fair. Last in the first play test, we sort of introduced a mysterious rock that was kind of in the farm next door to us. So it was like that. I mean, almost abstract. Like it was just happened to be a glowing rock. It got pretty weird. Our session ended up getting pretty weird, where some of the animals were mutating, but I don't think we need to go quite there. But maybe we start to discover little clues in the houses about what happened to the people, or we can sort of hint at those things. So I think Davey has a fox. Should we get started? I wonder if we can deal with Davey's fox.
What if Sparky is dragging this enormous comforter or floor pillow into our home space from one entrance, and I come in and immediately plop the fox down on it and say, "Perfect! Just in time, thank you. I brought us a new pack member."
But this is my pillow.
But look, he's hurt. You're a rescue dog. Do you know how to help our animals?
Yes, absolutely.
Great, because I'm good at running, and I did that part, and so now somebody else should help this fox. Fox, what is your name, Fox? That's okay. You don't have to say anything. We can talk later. And then I like run around the fox and sit down and wag my tail. So help him, Sparky, help him.
All right. Well, Sparky actually has absolutely no idea, as people could probably tell from lying unconvincingly there. And I think Sparky, though, knows that water solves everything. So I'm going to go and get some kind of dish bucket thing and go and get water from do we think taps work, or do you think I have to go to the swimming hole? Where do we think water comes from for us?
What if you just declare that he needs water and then I scoop him back up and trot towards the swimming hole with him?
Okay. Yes, water fixes everything. Yes, put the fox in the water.
That's a great idea.
Yes.
Yeah, he looks dirty.
Fox is like, I don't think that is not. This is not. Maybe I'm already quite damp from your spittle and saliva. Please stop.
I had not remembered the fox, honestly, until you did that accent. It's all coming back to me.
And so I put him down and like, you don't want to go for a swim? Swimming always makes me feel better when I'm feeling sore or bored or, just sad.
Maybe
really fun. It's sparkling.
Maybe you could bring me some water. You don't need to put me in the water.
So just from a practical thing, like dogs can't usually like turn on taps, can they? I mean, maybe Oatmeal can do that. But
yeah, we got to get
I'm assuming
Oatmeal.
We've got like some sort of maybe
yeah.
There's a rain spout or something, and we've like stuck a bucket under it.
Yeah, but Oatmeal knows how to turn taps. Where's Oatmeal? Oh wait! And I look around. Oh, so Scallop, Davy, I lost Oatmeal.
When you say
I'm really good at finding things.
When you lost him, what does that mean?
You see that cat, and I look at Marmalade.
Oh yeah, I see the cat.
Yeah, he let us into a place, and then things happened, and then Oatmeal ran away.
Marmalade is just grooming himself with this herself with this like perfect blend of arrogance and disinterest.
Which house were you in, Sparky?
Not the first house by the swimming hole.
Good.
But the next one after that.
Okay. Do you think Oatmeal is okay?
I kind of look at Davy, because Davy said that Davy can find.
I'm really good at smelling things, and I kind of jump up and down. Like it smells just like Oatmeal in here, so Oatmeal must be here.
Oh, Oatmeal already came back then?
Yes, definitely. And so I like start sniffing around in the corners, like, see this, and I like sniff it wherever Oatmeal sleeps, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, this smells like Oatmeal. I bet Oatmeal's like under the covers here, and I'm like, kind of like pulling the covers out of the way. Oh, no, he's not. I could go look for him if you can take care of the fox friend.
I will get the water for the fox friend if you will find Oatmeal.
Okay. Scallop says, Davy, why don't you let me come with you? Or do you?
I don't need any help. I'm really good at finding things.
I know you can find things, but it's always good to have a friend along, isn't it?
That's true. And you're a good teacher.
So you're going to leave me here with the fox and her? Looks at Marmalade again.
Marmalade looks at you and then looks at the fox and looks back at you and looks back at the fox. And the second time Marmalade looks at the fox, you almost see this very faint hint of fear cross her eyes. And then she looks back at you and then goes back to disinterested licking herself.
Oh, okay. Well, you Oatmeal, go find Davy, Scout, find him fast. I'll hold down the house.
I follow behind Davy. I sense that Davy's kind of bounding over to the house. And I follow behind Davy, just sort of keeping my eye on things. But when we get close to the house, I start barking Oatmeal's name. And I'm wondering if Oatmeal can hear from where he is.
Should I have in my mind where Oatmeal is, or is this more of a kind of play to find out sort of a thing, do you think?
Totally up to you. Where did we leave Oatmeal?
He was running across the yard, but we did not specify where.
So you're not in the house necessarily.
He took off afterward, after something, but he's not in the house. He's not at the rec center. And my thinking is that the barking kind of echoes. And what time of year is it roughly? Are we thinking like summer, autumn, springtime?
I assume since we were here with our families on vacation, more or less, maybe late summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have this really kind of crisp ocean air that's permeating everything. You hear almost a faint echo as your barks bounce off the houses. You look around, there's not a cloud in the sky. You have probably some recollection of watching kids playing soccer, in the park while you run around happily. But there's no apparent response from Oatmeal. You do, however, pick up on a scent that seems to actually be leading away from the house. It's in the direction of the swimming hole, as a matter of fact.
Davey, do you smell Oatmeal in that direction?
Definitely. But I don't have any tokens, so I'm going to assume that scent, maybe I initially take it as Oatmeal, but along the way, I'm going to get distracted by something else because I need to lose the scent of my quarry.
I have you at 1 token, and actually, I think you earned another token when I offered help and you accepted it. So you could make a strong move if you wanted.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to
do the weak move.
Yeah. I'm gonna admit this is my first belonging outside belonging game, and I am missing dice rolling so much. I'm like, I wanted to say I look for him and then either be told I don't find him or I do. But like the decision that I have to like decide, it's a little bit nerve-wracking for me.
I think David, since you were playing the setting, you can say what happens.
Right. So what I'm hearing is that you do pick up on the scent and you're following it. Is that?
Yeah, I think I should, because I would like to bring Oatmeal back because I like Oatmeal, and Oatmeal will definitely know what to do about. We found Fox.
Everything.
Yes. Maybe Oatmeal speaks Fox. Oatmeal looks kind of like a fox. He's got pointy nose.
So my thinking is that the scent is actually recent. It's a fairly easy trail to trace. But as you kind of snuffle along, kind of zigzagging through the grass that is just beginning to become overgrown with the absence of people, you kind of make your way over to the swimming hole, at which point the trail takes a turn and it begins to move eastward toward the beach. And the air becomes increasingly more salty, and you see all of these grasses that I assume Davy is not particularly familiar with. Is Davy the kind of dog that would be from a coastal area, or is this all very new to him?
I don't think my family my human lived too far from here. And we did lots of hiking and stuff. So it's not like I'm super familiar with it, but neither is it foreign. I mean, it's just tall grass, right? But thank you for bearing with me.
David, why did you ask about the grass?
I was just trying to kind of get a sense for how familiar Davy would be with this kind of environment.
Regardless of whether Davy is familiar with the environment or not, Davy has an ego. And so Davy is like enthusiastic about everything and is like, oh yeah, this is, I think maybe he's chattering like, this is exactly like this other time when there was a cornfield and we ran through the cornfield and I flushed a grouse. And then Bobby had this big loud bang stick. And then I got the grouse and I brought the grouse back to him. And this is just like that. I'm gonna flush oatmeal right out of the grass. And so I think can I spend a token to find something well hidden?
Oh yeah.
And maybe I see something small and gray in the grass ahead of me, like mostly, you know, and I think my hunter's instincts, my training are going to, I'm like going to kind of like creep up on it a little bit and then I'm going to pounce it. So I think Flying Davy is landing on you, Oatmeal.
Got it. I envision Oatmeal as having quietly kind of foot padding along, gotten up against a gold nest where there are assorted eggs, twigs, grasses, but also a particular shiny object, maybe of human manufacture. I haven't really thought of what it might be, perhaps like a pocket watch or some heirloom kind of object. But he is just about to gently place his little jaws onto it and sneak away when barreling out of the grass comes Davy, and anxious and jumpy as he is, Oatmeal probably does a full armadillo jump and just goes full vertical up out of the grass, completely betraying his position. What might Scallop and Davy then do as they begin to hear the distant cawing of seagulls growing ever closer as they realize that their nest has been infiltrated?
I think Davy's completely oblivious to that. I'm imagining like you jump, and so I kind of overshoot, and then I come back, and I want to just tackle you, and I want us to roll head over, ass over tea kettle down the dune and into the sand. Does that work for Oatmeal?
Mm-hmm. I'll switch to being Oatmeal here.
I got you. I win the game. I got you.
I feel like Oatmeal is just kind of frantic. He's just incoherently screaming like help, like he's convinced that he's been tackled by a predator, and it's taking him a moment to recognize that it's just Davy. Mm-hmm. And upon kind of coming to a stop in the dune, Oatmeal will look up frantically, look at the nest, look at the goals, look at Davy, repeat, and then just go, Davy, what are you doing?
I needed to find you. I found another you. It's a little red fluffy you, and I need you to talk to it.
Davy?
I found a you.
I look up with my big little eyes widening and bulging out of their sockets as the goals are getting closer.
Mine, getting louder and closer.
Davy, we have to get out of here right now.
Don't worry, I will protect you. And I get like big and I go, and I'm wagging my tail like this.
Davy, those birds up there, they're bigger than they look. And there's more of them than there are of us.
My whole job is scaring birds. I'm really, really good at this. Don't worry. You run away. It'll all be fine.
Can I ask you a favor, Davy? I'll pay it back. Can I ask you to distract them? I have to go back to that nest. There's something that I forgot.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I will distract them. And I'm going to.
And I think that's the point at which we start seeing the gulls begin doing their diving runs to nip and grab and squawk at you. Where is Scallop?
Yeah, I think I've pulled up the rear, and I say, Davy, I learned a trick. Here's how to get the gulls away. And I kind of turn my back to them, and I kick my back feet so that the sand kicks up in
Brilliant.
their faces. And it may be just enough. I don't know that I've got a good, strong move.
Yeah, you have keep somebody safe from an imminent threat.
So I'm going to spend a token for that thing. And I'm kicking the sand and scaring the gulls away.
Yeah, and I'm going to help that. And the entire time, I'm like, I'm the best kicker. You're the best teacher, and I'm the best kicker of sand ever. I'm going to kick all the sand. Look at all this sand I'm kissing. I could kick it so high. Kick. And then every so often I like stop and roll, and then I do some more kicking.
I begin to take off towards the nest, and I kind of yip over my shoulder. When I give the signal, you guys gotta run. And I bury myself in the tall grass and start foraging through that nest, looking for the watch. And just to clarify, making sure I'm covering everything under the neighboring enclave setting. It says to give a dog a token when they enter the enclave uninvited. Does that apply to all three of us? With these seagulls and their nesting grounds and all of that?
To my mind, I think I would be most comfortable with it just applying to you, since you are like, I feel like Scallop and I are kind of at the perimeter.
Yeah.
But you're the only one like really in their territory.
Yeah, you're in their space.
Okay.
But I'm kind of feeling like, despite all of this, I kind of want to, would anyone be sad if maybe this situation was more than Davy could handle? And maybe I'm kind of thinking I'd like to do the weak move, leave the pack behind, and strand you there, Oatmeal. Like,
again,
get you captured by the seagulls? Is that a thing?
Like he has to dig a hole to hide, or get into space to conceal himself when the gulls come down?
I'm just like trying to feel out if there's an interesting thing there, or if we should call this a success and let you have your prize.
Well,
which one do you think would be more interesting, Oatmeal? Would you rather get trapped, or would you rather make off with your prize?
I could see a scenario in which I grab the prize and am just stubbornly unwilling to let go of it. But rather than making a successful retreat to the rec center, I get kind of routed off in a different direction, and I end up kind of like atop a rocky sort of cliff where the gulls know that I could toss their object into the sea at any moment, but I'm not coming down. And so there's this standoff where maybe a rescue mission or something like that could occur.
Okay, but it doesn't sound like me breaking is the most interesting way to get there.
I mean, breaking might be the reason why the gulls, attack, perhaps.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the I feel like you would kind of have to break too, Oatmeal. Like, do you think that that's an interesting thing for Oatmeal to do, or?
It could be that Oatmeal asks us to maybe the thing is stuck, and so you're like, try and get the seagulls away to buy me some more time, and we kind of get the seagulls away, but by the time we're done with that, we come back and find that you're gone. Does that solve the narrative problem?
And is that even more interesting than you just getting the thing?
Yeah, or
what do we want to do?
You can just take it and run. Either way, David, I think the thief is using its given to greed at its peril.
Yeah, there's a lot happening here that applies to those thief weak moves. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Maybe in this case, I'm happy playing to find out and see what happens here. I almost kind of would like to eventually get the prize just because maybe it could be a Mystery of Devastation clue or something like that.
Yeah.
It would be cool if you grab it, and I mean that will drive them crazy because they're like the shiny, 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 and that may be what draws them to the rec center is the three of you running back with your loot, and that's they start coming, and
that's where the standoff is.
Yeah.
Oh, and it can be, we can go all like Hitchcock and
yes,
birds flying against the windows. I love it.
What do you think, Oatmeal?
That works.
I thought we were going to do a nice day in the life thing, but here we are going with the birds. I love it.
And of course they're going to be diving and pecking at the three of you, and especially trying to get at Oatmeal, who's a tiny little thing, and trying to get that away from him as the three of you are running back.
And I'm going to be, even if I was no matter, I'm fastest, right? And I'm like, I'm the fastest. And so I'm yelling at the top, barking at the top of my lungs on the way. I'm like, Sparky, open the door. I found Oatmeal. I found Oatmeal. Open the door. Open the door.
Sparky is very good at opening doors, but he doesn't do it with any speed. He's like, braces his paws on the bar and pushes it. And then when he sees the gulls, I think maybe runs back and lets the door begin to shut when he sees the big pack of gulls.
But I'm gonna imagine that Davy is fast enough that I get through the door and it like I hit it with enough force that it bangs open, so that it'll be open when Scallop and Oatmeal reach. But to stop myself, I have to do like one of those really ungraceful like dog skids across the floor and kind of like run into a shelf and knock some things over. And there's like a big loud crash, and Marmalade jumps and hisses, and is gotten all like fur up. So she'll be greeting Oatmeal and Scallop full tizzy.
Well, before we get, I want to rewind just a little bit because I want to hear the Oatmeal pulling the thing out of the net.
Yes.
What that looks like. David, can you give us the Oatmeal finally wrestling the shiny thing free?
Right. So I'm still kind of at a brainstorming stage as to what this thing might be. Pocket watch is the only thing that I can think of, but maybe others can contribute something else, like an engraved pocket watch with like a clue on it or something. But yeah, Oatmeal will dash quivering into the tall grass where this nest lies, and he immediately just kind of gets up on the nest and hunkers down, getting his snout and his shoulders and his front paws, and just starts kind of kicking away, trying to dig at this little shiny thing that he knows he saw. And all the while you can hear the gulls screeching, getting increasingly loud. And for him, it's actually a very tense moment. And he's kind of muttering to himself, come on, Davy, buy me some time. As if he's like saying, you got to cut the red wire. It's that level of intensity for him. And eventually he finally digs down until he finds nestled in between a couple of eggs and some grassy almost twine, this dirty, we'll go with pocket watch, that's all I can think of, but this little, bite-sized circular shiny thing that he doesn't really recognize, but it is just the prettiest, shiniest thing he ever has seen. And he delicately places his little teeth on it right as he is discovered. A gull will swoop down and nip at his back. He will jump, suddenly nearly swallowing the whole thing, and just start dashing at full greyhound speed across the lawn, right as I think Sparky opens the door And maybe that's when he shows up.
Is there something about the pocket watch that reminds you of your humans? Is there sort of a little bit of nostalgia there or something like that?
Right, right. I think that it's this shiny circular thing. And it reminds him, if this isn't too indulgently poetic, it reminds him a bit of the moon and all the times that he would go and watch the moon with his owner, who was his best friend. And he kind of always has the little moon with him now.
So sweet.
Nice.
I would like to add a little twist to this. And knowing full well that I know very little about nature, I'm wondering if maybe there's like a gull chick there that becomes imprinted on you and follows us back to the den. And so now we have a tiny gull chick that is thinks Oatmeal is its mother.
I think if that's going to be plausible, since we have an angry flock as a problem right now, maybe that's something we discover in the next scene, that it
Okay.
like that we should deal with the gull attack, and then maybe afterwards we will discover that it snuck in somehow.
Right. Camera pans down and there's a little chick there. Yeah.
We are making all sorts of new friends.
Yes.
That
I
works for
definitely
me.
think the gulls are on the window ledges. They're pecking at the windows. We can hear them scraping around on the roof. They're doing that flap and poking and trying to find any method of egress. And they're still, shiny, 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 shiny from all around. Give it back, give it back. As they move.
What building of the rec center did we make our home in?
It's a good question.
Because kind of in my head, either the two buildings that are generally in a rec center are like a giant gymnasium or like a concession stand, and they're like, what else? What other sorts of buildings might there be?
Well, I had pictured at least one of the buildings being being a multi-purpose, but like a gymnasium or set up like a roller rink, and like the concession like attached to that. Maybe there's a pass through to the outside as well.
I'm picturing at least one ping pong table for my part.
And some big glass windows looking out onto the beach, just so that the gulls can be at that.
And there's definitely vending machines somewhere in there that at least one other dog in our pack, maybe some minor character, basically sits and watches them, hoping that food will fall out one day.
Yeah, I like the idea of it having a roller rink, maybe that's in like really bad disrepair, that was like popular 20 years ago, and they sort of closed it off, and like that door had been boarded up, but like we can go in there and we can run around in circles if we want.
Oh yeah. I brought the water to the fox and you found Oatmeal. So everything's fine now, right?
I won the game.
Good. Dude, why are all the gulls? Why did you bring all the gulls with you?
Oatmeal, why did we bring all the gulls with us?
I think that Oatmeal has refused to, I've refused to let go of the pocket watch, and I'm doing what I do when I get scared, which is just running all around in circles. So I'm frantically like sprinting in a long loop around the room, occasionally jumping up on a table and doing a circle in there before jumping down. And the whole while I've lost my composure, and I'm just going, we're doomed, it's over. Oh my goodness, I had a good life. I think, oh no, this is the worst. But I'm just like completely panicking, and I think it's only a matter of time before the goals get in.
I think you're playing, and I'm going to start chasing you.
Scallop.
Now everybody just needs to calm down. Calm down. I've faced these goals before. They will surely lose interest. They are dumber than cats, and at some point they will lose interest and they will fly away. They won't even remember that we live here.
But why?
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 It's possible that we found one of their nests and that they felt that we were intruding upon them.
Okay.
At this point, I scream, "You'll never take it from me, you dirty double agent, double-crossing turncoat," as Davy chases me.
Is he talking to us or the gulls?
And I think at that moment I realized that this is maybe not a fun game, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I was trying. And I just sit down, kind of dejected. Like, clearly you need. I want to like diffuse. I don't even know what dogs do. What do dogs do when each other are freaking out? Does it just like escalate? Do dogs try and calm each other?
I mean, our dogs can calm each other, can try and calm each other down. Yeah. But usually they try and put as much distance between themselves and the thing that's freaking them out.
Okay, so is there like there must be like a darker, like maybe I'm gonna try and like corral you, Oatmeal. Like use my chasing to like corral you into someplace further away from the windows where it won't be as noisy. What part of and I'm kind of maybe trying to use one of the setting moves, like to get you into a safe space so that the den itself can ease someone's anxiety.
There's the old roller rink.
I'm hoping for something without windows, but also not enclosed, because I'm not terribly enclosed. Yeah, maybe the old roller rink doesn't have windows, so like the birds won't be super present there.
I can use a move called "Tell everyone something important about the place that you're in," and I can say, "There's an office. There's a room next to the roller rink that's smaller that I set up some bedding in. That would be a good place to go to hide and calm down."
Yeah, my only. Oh, but it's. I have to go look at the characters. Because I mean, you don't like small spaces, and neither do I. And so I feel like I would know that about you, and that you would feel safer in the roller rink than in the office.
Well, the office probably isn't like a closet, you know. I'm thinking like a crate would be like a small space.
Okay.
But like if it's just like an office, I think that would be, you know, palatable enough.
Okay, so can I corral you in there and try and be like, I'm sorry. There's like, we're safe in here. There's no windows. We're safe.
Yeah, I think what I would do is kind of, once I'm in this office, I would sprint to a corner and tuck the watch kind of somewhere safe where I won't forget it. And I'll just turn back around and say, "Davy, how many of them are there?"
And so when you turn back around, what I have done is when I got you in there, like, I feel like maybe I know you well enough. When you turn back around, I'm actually have my back to you, and I am like, you know, very studiously studying the corner. Like, I'm like, I didn't see where you put it, is what I'm trying to communicate to you. Like, I didn't see where you hit it. And I was like, I don't know. It's a lot. I don't count so well.
Davy.
But I don't think they can get in. I think they're too little.
I kind of cautiously trot over to the door and peer out. And I say, Davy, I don't know how we're going to get out of this one, but I just want you to know that if we don't, you've been a great friend.
We'll get out of it. I'll protect you. And Scallop knows all the things about the birds. She knew about the sand. We'll be fine.
Meanwhile, I'm saying to Sparky, I think, if I remember correctly, the seagulls don't like loud noises.
Here do I.
I
do not like loud noises.
But if you know the loud noise is coming instead of surprising you, then maybe you'd be okay with the loud noise.
But it's still loud. But that was part of every day.
Well, what if this is like an air conditioner coming on, or like a big machine coming on? That might scare the seagulls away.
I have a cunning plan.
Okay.
So I say we've got still left away up in that hopper over there at the concession thing that we haven't gotten into, has that big bag with the popcorn.
Yes.
I say we grab that big garbage bag of popcorn.
Yes.
And we drag it outside and we tear it open a ways away from here. No gull can resist popcorn. That's a fact of nature.
I like where you're going with this.
Yes.
I'm worried that once they finish the popcorn, they'll just come right back.
You think they can remember that long?
Maybe not.
I can't.
Well, that gives me some hope. All right, let's do it.
Oh no, I know. Let's ask the cat.
This clearly hurts Scallop's. I mean, we don't, I guess, sure, fine. I mean, we can ask she's not even here. She's found something better to do. So we don't need to, this is a good plan. I say we go with it.
Which plan?
The popcorn plan.
Oh, I love popcorn.
Okay, maybe we should ask the cat.
Okay.
Is the cat still here?
I think that Marmalade is still there, but when you look around for Marmalade, she is kind of made her way over to the door, and she's like ignoring the birds, kind of slamming against the window, and she has got that like cat ready to pounce look, and she's staring at the floor next to the door, like swishing tail slowly, looking like she's about ready to pounce at something you guys can't see.
Hey, Marmalade, what are you looking at?
It seems that you brought me my prey after all.
Wait, what are you talking about?
To those that wait. And she leaps down on whatever it is that she sees.
And I think that this is interesting. So I think Scallop and I have to come running.
Yeah, we're there. We want.
Whoa, bark, 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 bark.
And so, very proud cat. She's got the thing in her mouth, and it's going. She's like very self-satisfied.
You can't eat that. You can't eat that.
Put that down.
Can't eat that.
Drop it.
And she's like, she's not even that interested in eating it. She's got like that sassy tail flip. She's like, I'm gonna go play with this, and she jumps up on top of the vending machine.
Nope. Bark.
And she drops it on top of the vending machine and is kind of looking at you, and she's like, make me give it back. It is mine, fair and square. You owe me.
Look, Marmalade. Obviously, it is a baby and it needs help. And now that all the people are gone, we're the ones who have to help the babies.
It is a toy, and it looks delicious. And she kind of like bats it and goes,
Oh, bup, bup, bup.
and then she bats it in the other direction, and then gives you this look like.
I think that bigger than Marmalade. I think that that's when the Dalmatian comes over, just walks over Marmalade.
I'm up on top of a vending machine.
We'll do that leap, climb up, kind of scramble up there. I will spend my token to try and knock the bird down to Scallop to kind of keep it safe.
I'm kind of imagining a like clumsy, like you're trying to get up on top, and like it's like so audacious and klutzy that the cat is just like and like, you know, hiss, spits and jumps off, like just so as, or no, you run into her and does that like completely undignified cat scrabble and falls off. And then the bird also falls off, but falls off in a different direction.
And
so
now I'm stuck on top of a vending machine.
I think you never made it actually on top of the
Okay.
vending machine to begin with. But if you'd rather be on top, I'm totally cool with that too.
I gingerly pick up the bird or the whatever it is, I think maybe Scallop's had a litter of puppies at some point in her life.
Oh.
So she sort of has her maternal instinct kicks in, and she sort of gingerly picks up the bird and trots it back to the office, where clearly all the fragile animals are hanging out. And I nudge open the door and I'm like, is there room for one more in here? And I put the bird down.
Meanwhile, Marmalade is kind of has smooth, like, you know, done her cat shake. She's like, fine, I've tried to extend the paw of friendship, but clearly you idiot mutts would rather be on your own. Fine, all deals are off. I'm going back to my pack. To my, what is a group of cats called? My colony. I will be back at my colony.
I say, but what about all the mice in the building?
Nice. Scallop says, yeah, we've had so many mice and they've just been impossible to catch. We don't really touch them, but they're clearly, this place is crawling with mice.
They get up into things. They get up on the counters and stuff where we can't get, and they run around and they taunt us.
Oh, it's so mean.
And like, so she's already like halfway to the door, and she kind of looks back over her butt and goes, that'll be an interesting thing to tell my queen.
Cats have a queen? Wow, do we have a queen? Scallop, are you the queen?
I'm not the queen. We don't do things the way cats do things. We make decisions together.
Do we have a king? Because if a king gets a crown, I look very good in a king hat.
You're sure you do, Sparky. Are the seagulls still continuing their attack? Have they lost interest?
I think they've stopped the pecking on the windows, and it's ominously quiet now.
It's too quiet.
It's too quiet, but we know they haven't gone far, and we can hear like little movement up on the roof. So they've clearly decided to move up there to wait and lurk.
I wonder if we're just past the hour. I'd like to take a little bit of break. I wonder if we can sort of end on maybe Sparky and Scallop have initiated Operation Popcorn. And as we're dragging the big bag away, we turn back to look at the rec center, and there's just this line of seagulls on the roof staring us down, watching us drag the popcorn away.
That's a lot of goals.
A lot of seagulls up there. This seemed like a lot of popcorn, but now it doesn't seem like a
It
lot
doesn't
of
seem
popcorn.
like so much popcorn.
So I've got 8 past the hour. Should we reconvene at 15 past, 7 minutes?
Sounds good.
That works.
Cool.
I think, does Scallop get a token for following Sparky's advice with the popcorn?
I could use a token. I'll take a token.
Other dogs get a token when they follow your advice.
Oh, nice.
All right, that sounds good to me, though.
All right, guys. See you in a few.
Okay.
And we're back.
I would actually, before we do popcorn, I would love to get another scene of like Davy and Oatmeal once the like they had a little time to relax and then deal with the bird before we go out onto the beach. Would that be okay?
I was just going to suggest that. I love
Oh,
that.
okay.
Is that okay with you, Jane and Dave?
Yeah. For whatever reason, I like the blocking that I had in my head where like Oatmeal is kind of pacing around the room and is like
I'm running laps.
Yeah, you're like really energetic. And I am like, I've shut the door and I'm standing next to the door in the corner, like not looking at you. Like, I'm just like, you do what you need to do, Oatmeal. Run it off. Running always makes me feel better. Run it off, Oatmeal.
I'm doing.
Birds can't get in.
I imagine I'm doing like agility jumps over you as I continue to run laps. Like you have plopped yourself down and I'm just jumping over you without any kind of indication that I'm going to stop.
Yeah, and so like, and I'm like being very still in my like hunter dog mode, and I keep looking up and I'm like, that's a nice jump. Ooh, that was really high. You got even higher. I didn't know you could jump so well. You're so jumpy. Wow, that's some serious air.
What's happened to the little gold chick? Wasn't it brought in by Scallop? I think. Is it kind of in the room with us, or I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, I will play the chick, and the chick goes beep. Blink, blink. Beep.
For my part, I'll do kind of another jump, and then as the peeping happens, I imagine that this chick is kind of plopped there next to Davy. And as I make another go around, I sniff out this chick, and my eyes and snout kind of turn to zero in on it. And I skid, kind of like having to lean back on my back legs until I'm practically flipped over on my back to a halt in front of this chick. And I look down at it, and then I look back up at Davy, and I go, Davy, what did you do this time?
I'm making us lots of new friends. The humans left. We need new friends.
I look down at the chick, and I kind of reposition myself so that my entire belly is flat against the floor, and my paws are up here by my snout. And I kind of pad my way over and sniff at it a little bit.
And I turn over my shoulder and peek, and I go, I think he likes you.
Where did you find this?
I didn't find it anywhere. It just appeared. I think Scallop dropped it off.
Smells like one of the birds, Davy.
Yeah, but it's little and peepee, and it can't fly. I just said peepee.
Fluff looks at Oatmeal and says, Mama. In perfect dog, by the way.
Yep.
It speaks dog. I didn't know you had a baby, Oatmeal. I thought you were a boy.
I thought I was too. I look at the little Fluff chick and say, you can talk.
Oatmeal, is it safe for me to come out of the corner? I want to sniff it. Can I come sniff it with you? Please?
Be very, very careful. It might be a trap.
I'll come around from the back. Then we'll have it cornered. So I'm going to be sniffing its butt.
Classic.
I can imagine us just staying in this position for quite a while.
Yeah, I think we're kind of the way that cats
Yeah.
can like just look out a window at nothing in particular for an hour. I feel like we're just both just like wide eye, like, like looking at this chick with utter enraptured attention.
Mm-hmm. And serious tail motion from me.
I'd probably be quivering a little bit because I kind of assume that anything that I'm not already familiar with is a potential threat. And so I'm sitting there like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, this makes things more complicated and you're just so happy.
What do you think it eats?
I examine the beak. Kibble? I nudge it a little bit with my nose. You were saying something, what'd you say?
Mama.
I kind of scoop it underneath my snout and have it sit on my snout. And my eyes cross a little bit as I look up at it. And I wait to see what it does.
I think it actually hops down. She hops down and walks around and kind of snuggles up right next to you and falls asleep.
Davey, I think we have a problem.
Yeah, we don't know what it eats. Maybe Scallop knows. You stay there. It looks very comfortable. If you move, it might wake up, and then it might say, peep, and it might be hungry.
Yeah, let's get
Don't move.
Scallop.
Don't move. I'm going to go ask Scallop. Okay. And so then I think you guys, though, are already outside in your popcorn plan.
Yeah, we got.
Leaving only Volpe behind.
All right, and so like the transition there is me like running up to the window and looking around for you, and then running up to the window and put my paws on the window, and then we go through the window out to see you guys and your giant bag of popcorn.
We established that there's another dog here, and the one that stares at the vending machine. I imagine it's because there's a thing to introduce an old dog who lives in a den, and I think the old dog just kind of looks back as you go, "That's fine. You can just leave me here. I'll just watch out for this fox thing. You just don't even say goodbye."
It's the ego of our group.
I'll say bye. Bye.
Oh.
But I don't actually go anywhere.
So should we cut to this popcorn plan?
Yes, totally.
Okay.
So what do we think, what other playbooks do we think make sense with this?
Well, this is probably the other enclave at least, right?
It's true. We are interacting with the other enclave.
And possibly the natural world.
Yeah.
I guess. Because I think we're going to drag this down to Gull Point, to the pier.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I like that.
And
okay.
and kind of the like this is no dog's land over here. Yeah. And we're going to go, and then we're going to tear this popcorn open on the pier. Scallop. Okay, you go forward a little bit. See if there are any gulls. Standing watch. I'll keep dragging the popcorn.
I think we should just walk forward like we mean business. Don't look back. As soon as we make eye contact, it's over. Just keep walking. But maybe we need to be super clear what exactly it is that we're carrying and how it would be terrible if the gulls got their hands on it, got their beaks on it.
I know exactly how to show them what we're carrying.
Okay.
and I bite into the bag and start shuffling into the popcorn.
Okay, don't eat it all. Don't eat it all. We need to save some.
Oh,
Yeah, it's also popcorn is not good for dogs.
what? Who told you that? They're liars made of lies. Popcorn's delicious.
Popcorn is really good, but it might give you an upset stomach. It's one of those things I learned on the mean streets of Loblolly Trails, or whatever this place is called. Let's go take this popcorn to the pier so we can enjoy it ourselves without being interrupted by any other animals or birds.
Oh no, we're such slow dogs. I hope that no gulls come and take our popcorn. Shiny, delicious, buttery, delicious popcorn. Oh, so delicious.
I don't know how it stayed so fresh all these weeks.
Oh, here we are at the pier. There's a lot of sand in my paws. This sand is hot.
Maybe we should just sit and leave this popcorn here while we go for a walk along the beach.
You think the popcorn will be safe?
Surely. All those gulls are far away.
Wink, he says wink.
So you guys drag this bag of popcorn down to the end of the pier.
Oh, not the end. That's too much far in the water, but a ways along the pier.
Right. Okay. So what I want to know is, are there any boats tied up here?
Oh, of course.
And what sort of condition is the pier itself in?
I imagine if this is it's probably still in okay condition, but the boats are probably worse for wear from storms and stuff. Probably some of them are maybe kind of jammed up, and maybe a couple are flipped over. But there's probably some decent looking boats.
Okay, that like, were they abandoned before the long walk, or?
I imagine these are like the locals, like tied up like little boats and rowboats, but maybe also a couple of like, let's go out and do a big Trump rally boats and they'll flip over kind of things on the ends.
So my question, has there been a big storm?
Oh yeah, I think there has to have been.
Okay, there's been this like a huge giant storm, and so we have capsized, but I'm just kind of trying to picture
at least once. That's why there's all this debris and weird stuff along the like on the beach that's gotten pushed up.
Cool. And maybe it smells like rotting fish too, because there was like a glut of a whole bunch of fish and things beached themselves or washed ashore. And it was great for the first like week or so because there was free food everywhere, and now it's gross and smells disgusting. But
well, disgusting is a matter of opinion. It doesn't taste good, but the smell is probably pretty good.
So Sparky, tell me what you roll in. Or Scallop, but Sparky seems more the sort to roll in something super stinky.
I think if there's some like moss and seaweed and stuff, and it has that good fragrance to it, I go over and I roll around in it, do that kind of kick around in it, and it's got my back with scratch right there. Oh, right there. Oh, wait, popcorn, right? What are we doing?
Scallop sees some old crab bits on the dock, and that's what she chooses to roll in. She's wise, but she's still a dog, and she likes rolling in smelly stuff. But once she's done with that, she's like, Sparky,
yeah,
maybe we should go. It looks like the gulls might be noticing that we've brought the popcorn here.
Here's the thing, though. If the gulls were away, maybe there's a chance to like search the beach. Maybe like a rawhide treat has washed up, or chew toy or something.
Wait a minute, Sparky. I just got a really crazy idea. What if we put this bag of popcorn on one of the boats and then untied the boat? Are you following me?
Yeah, you're in front.
You get where I'm going with this?
Yeah, you're going that way.
Scallop starts dragging the bag and putting it on one of the smaller boats.
Cool. And I think that you definitely, if you want to, it's tied super tight to the moorings.
Ooh.
I'm going to invite you to get yourself stuck. It says give a dog a token when they attempt to use human technology without first understanding it.
Oh, nice. Okay, good.
Because I'm looking at the remnants of civilization, and I was kind of thinking, if you take that bait, you end up on that boat when it floats away from the dock.
Yep, I love it. Yeah, I'm like, I can't pull it. It's like, so I get into the boat myself, which some dogs might be worried about that. Since I've been around the beach for a while, I have no problem getting into the boat. And I find that it's much easier to untie the rope from this side. And maybe just at that point,
Scallop, you're getting further away.
yeah, I'm sort of looking at it, realizing that I'm on a boat drifting out into the ocean, surrounded by popcorn.
The gulls are coming. The gulls are coming. And I think I'm running along the pier, barking in sort of hysterics until the gulls come, and then I'm gonna go run and like try to find someplace to hide and cower. You're on your own.
I'm happy to leave Scallop here if we want to switch scenes, or we can figure out what happens to poor Scallop.
Let's leave a little bit of a cliffhanger there, because it seems like my character is the one most likely to be able to save your character.
Okay.
But I also feel like I've been hugging the spotlight a little bit. So I'm wondering if there's something else we can do before then to give Oatmeal some screen time.
You might, well, let me think. Did Marmalade leave at this point?
I was thinking she did,
Okay.
but she's a cat. She could appear to have left and not.
Right.
We also still have a whole fox who's just hanging out, not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
NPC.
Right. I mean, I was just thinking, like, perhaps, I mean, if we didn't, I mean, I don't think, first of all, that Davy's had too much screen time. I love Davy. But yeah, if you wanted, there could be a scene where, like, Davy takes off after Scallop, basically leaving Oatmeal with Droopy and the rest of the gang. And if Marmalade was around, that could be a time for him to engage in a battle of wits with her as he tries to protect the chick.
Oh, I like that.
I like that.
That might be a long scene, though, depending on how it plays out. But I'll put it out there on the table. I actually am perfectly happy seeing Davy come to the rescue or something like it. I don't mind at all to have that scene play out if we'd like to have that happen.
I love the idea of Marmalade, like having waited for Davy to pop out that window and the others to be gone, to come sliding back and poke his head into the office, and it's like, oh, Oatmeal, did they leave you all alone?
So good.
That would be good. We can go with that if you would like.
I completely love that. And like, for me, that's a much more interesting scene than Davy being because we all have seen heroics in RPGs before.
And also, Oatmeal hasn't seen Marmalade go after the little bird. Yeah,
That's true.
Right.
Oh, what do you have there?
I can't imagine what you might be talking about, Marmalade. I thought you had gone back to your queen.
No, that was a misunderstanding. You probably misheard. You were in here by yourself. I was so worried about you. I had to come back to check.
Uh, everything's fine. Goals are gone. Everyone's gone. Just oatmeal here.
Everyone's gone. Just oatmeal. And me.
And Marmalade the cat. Hey, listen,
and someone else?
Oh, this little thing? Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is Davey brought this little thing over. You should go talk to Davey if you. I'm just here.
I would, but Davey has left you.
Left me?
Yes.
Marmalade.
Yes.
Look, I know we said some things back at that house.
What things did we say?
Just that I would get you some birds and you would do favors for me. And, I know that we said some things and some bargains were held up and others weren't. But I think that if we just talk to each other, we can sort this out.
Now, was it that I said I would get you in the house? Right. Yes. But like I did.
You did, didn't you?
And I think Marmalade does that thing where cats just kind of lazily jump up onto something and jumps up onto the desk, puts a little pause there and kind of does a full relax and looks down at you. It's okay.
Glad we can still be friends. Now that we're on good terms again, I actually have to go, wash the trash and do chores and, other things that I,
Well, maybe I can help.
This is a dog kind of a thing, me and this little thing can go handle it.
That's a little baby. Why don't you let me watch him while you go run errands?
Oh, I couldn't ask you to do something like that. You've already done so much for me. I say, kind of trying to pull myself on one arm over to where the door is kind of cracked open.
Ooh. What's this shiny thing in the corner?
Oh, that shiny thing? That's mine. Don't touch it.
Don't worry. You can leave if you want.
Marmalade? Are you implying something?
I don't know. Are you inferring something? Mm-hmm.
That reminds me, I think I really should move this with me. I've got quite the armful, I hear, pushing myself in the other direction towards the...
Yes, I want to see how you manage both of them.
Just almost there, and here we go. I'm kind of going the other direction now.
And Marmalade drops down to walk beside you.
Hello.
I thought I might introduce Volpe. Volpe shows up. Is that a good move?
Yeah.
I think Volpe's the only thing that's going to save me at this point.
As a fox, he's more canid than he is feline, so he might feel a certain loyalty to Oatmeal. I don't know. But he walks in and he goes, well, what is happening here? He's got a
None of your business, pointy nose.
This is now my den too. So everything here is my business. That is my friend. I think.
Yeah. I've always thought you were great. What's your name?
I am Volpe, the fox. I come from the forest. I decide forest not for me anymore. I think I will stay here.
Is it because you're slathered in dog drool? Is that what brought you here and bound you to them?
Friends help friends. That is not something you would understand. Sometimes you get a little wet when the friends help.
I
fine.
was here to help my friend Oatmeal. He
Uh,
clearly has too large a burden, and I was here to help him.
Oatmeal is the smartest among these dogs.
That
It
is
is very-
probably true.
It is a big burden to bear. However, now he has me to help,
Not so big.
and maybe the long-eared one outside, I don't know. So why don't you make yourself scarce, cat? Cat.
Perhaps I will, but only, I want you to understand, because I deem it so.
Yes. It is totally your choice.
Good. Now that we both understand that, I will walk away with my head held high. But Oatmeal turns back. A promise is a promise.
I like have this thing in my mouth and I'm like on my side with this chick squirming to get away from me. And I'm like completely belly up vulnerable. And I just go,
Marmalade looks at you, looks at the fox, does that quick calculation, not going to work, and walks away as if this is entirely his decision to walk out, but notably probably keeps his face to the fox the entire time, doesn't show his back at all before he goes out and jumps up onto a counter and settles in again.
So Marmalade's sticking around.
For the moment.
Fascinating. Volpe says, Mr. Oatmeal, I would love to help you. However, I look at that small baby you have, and something in my mouth starts to water, and I think maybe I'm not the right person to help you with the baby. But I could take the other thing if that would be helpful. And I feel like this is Samwise Gamgee asking Frodo to give up the ring. I feel like that's sort of the offer that is being made.
I look down at it and I have this kind of like very brief sort of flashback to sitting, curled up on my owner, like while he was reading in bed, and I'm looking wistfully out at the moon through the window, and it's like the happiest I've ever felt. And I just say, I'm okay, Holby. Thank you for your enduring confidence in our friendship. You are a true friend and companion.
I do what I can. You know what? Maybe you stay here with the two precious things. I will stand by the door and make sure the cat stays away.
What I might actually do is just for the sake of narrative flavor, I might use my strong move, use pleading eyes to convince someone to give something up.
Oh, nice.
So I'm looking up at this fox with my big little eyes and being very vulnerable, and I'm like just quietly trying to be like, "Hey man, throw me a bone here, just give me this one."
Because I think Volpe was really, really strongly considering eating that bird, but now you've convinced him.
He's a big and clever enough animal. He could have taken it by force if he really wanted. Whereas Marmalade might have had a bit more of a scrap on his hands. So what I'll do is maybe once Volpe exits, I will drop everything, scramble to the door, nudge it closed with my snout, and then I will turn, hunker down, looking at this chick, and I just say, "You and me gotta figure out what we're gonna do, little guy." And we can just like end the scene there.
Nice.
I have one little bit of foreshadowing I'd like to put is that the chick does a little beep beep, and I think we probably cut to like the air conditioner vent, and we probably take it up to the top, and that sound probably carries a little bit up to the gulls up on the roof.
Love it.
That works.
Are they looking like I need to get my chick back, or are they just
I
looking?
think more like, what was that?
Right. Okay.
Because there's only a few of them, because the rest are going for the popcorn.
Right. That was great. Is there any other scene you want to play before we wrap up?
Davey, do you want to save your stuff for a cliffhanger, or do you want to do it now? What do you want to do?
I'm old. I want to quit at like 10 o'clock and just talk about the game in like the meta. But I totally want to, I want like the image of Davy, like having seen Sparky running along the beach barking. And like, I've got the ears and I like come onto the shore and goes, where's Scallop? And we both look out over the ocean. And there's this like flock of circling gulls cawing over the boat. And it's like rocking in the waves.
I think there's that. If we're gonna go all in on our cliffhangers, the camera also pans up, and now we get this sort of top shot of the gulls hovering over or kind of flying over the boat, which I was imagining kind of a small sailboat, and we also see maybe large shadow under the water too, adjacent to the boat.
Might be a dolphin.
Could be anything.
You know?
Dolphins, puppies of the sea, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You're
not bringing it home, Davey.
I do have a move.
You need more friends.
Called Find an Ally in an Unexpected Place. So I may trigger that move next time.
That's nice.
Yeah. Friends, that was super fun. I'm totally okay with wrapping up now. It would be good to just do stars and wishes at the end, if that's okay with you all. And also, if you want to talk a little bit more about kind of the structure of the game, we had the meta conversation, which was not on the recording. Sorry, recording. But then I just felt like the second half felt like it gelled a little bit more. And I don't know what we did differently, but just sort of like if we changed our mindsets or we had more focus to the scenes, I don't know, it just felt different to me. Did it feel different to you all?
There was more of a sense of explicitness about what we were going to do, and I kind of like that.
I made a point of asking one of the sensory questions that we talked about at the end of the session last time. And that gave us the whole fuel for Scallop's little adventure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then something I was going to suggest maybe as a structural change is instead of give a dog a token when they, instead of having it be like just a thing, if you rewrote it as, as a offer the dog this, if they take it, get a token.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Because then it's a little bit more like a GM player bargain then. And so like the person who is physically looking at the settings playbook has a move that the person can either accept or turn down.
That's great.
Because I do think there is a thing of encouraging. It would be interesting to have some encouragement for, okay, I want to also take up the setting playbook because it might be a way I can get some tokens, in addition to giving dogs tokens.
Oh, that's another idea. Yeah.
I don't know if that's another system too many or not, but
well, I was looking something up. Can I ask you to repeat what you just said? I'm sorry.
Oh, it would be nice if maybe there were one or two ways or moves that when you take up a setting book that, you know, if you put this into play with another character or something, that you get a token for your own character.
Nice.
I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like just kind of reframing the things in the setting playbook as offering the dogs something. Offer the dog a new path. Offer the dog a game to play. Offer the dog this, and then it feels less. I don't know. And then it's more of like a contract between two people deciding that a thing is happening than someone just declaring it, which for me is a little bit more of a comfortable space.
Yeah, it sparks a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and it's framed as a conversation, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember. Sam Zimmerman has a game, Revolution, and that doesn't have settings, but it does have bargains. I think it's Sam's game. And I'm trying to remember if it's framed in that way, but I really like that idea.
Yeah, cause I mean, like that's kind of what I did when I offered you a token to do a thing that would get you into trouble, which isn't explicitly allowed in the thing, but it's that like offer them trouble basically when they interact with, and if they let themselves fall prey to the danger, give them a token.
Yeah, I love that. One of the things that was in my original conception of this is the idea of dominance, that in a pack of dogs, presumably, there's kind of an alpha dog, a second in command dog, and even an omega dog at the bottom of the pack. And just through the iteration of the design, that stuff got stripped out. But and I came up with a mechanic for how that would work, that if one of the dogs is the alpha dog, they've got a special set of moves that they can use and a special set of tokens that they can use. So it really sort of creates another moving part to track and take care of. On the one hand, I'm super happy with how this is working without that as part of the dynamic. But on the other hand, there's part of me that thinks that would set this apart from other games and really play into the pack of dogs theme. And I wonder how you all react to that.
It's definitely a little grittier mechanic. I mean, we're playing very, very co-op, and it definitely introduces a level of competition. And I will say this, having played a Gone, having run that, which has just a little bit of built-in competition between the players, over time, the players came to really not dig it. Now, I think it's as much about the people being story gamers and play nice players that maybe other players might enjoy it. But I think anything like that needs to be maybe an optional thing.
I was going to say, I think that it has to do a lot with the tone that you're aiming for. If you want it to be, like a little bit more of a gritty kind of jockeying for power kind of style of game, which is lovely, and I enjoy those too. I could see that being a solid mechanic to put in. And conversely, if you wanted more of a, heartwarming slice of life kind of feel like what we're doing here, I just don't know that it would really add a whole lot. It would almost feel like you're playing around it, I think.
Right, it would get in the way. Yeah. Well, I wrote it up. I posted a link in the chat of the kind of concept that I had. I've never tried it out, so I don't know if it works. But honestly, I'm either thinking it stays out or it's sort of, there's maybe one move that's a reference to it that sort of acknowledges this pack dynamic that exists. One of the reasons why I'm a little skeptical of it is when I was doing some research on pack dynamics, it turns out that this might not actually be entirely true about dogs in the wild. They may not actually have the kind of hierarchy that people thought they did. So,
yeah, I saw that about wolves, that they're rethinking the whole dynamics about how wolves interact.
Right. So that was very helpful feedback. Was there anything that you felt like, anything else you want to react to, or anything else that worked or didn't work for you?
I want to throw to Jane a little bit, because I do think there was something that was said at the end of last time, and that Jane brought in this time, is that idea of sensory details, of more of that in maybe in the playbooks and in the setting books. I'd love to see more of that kind of stuff.
What if, just as a structural thing, I'm also running a game of Brindlewood Bay right now, and I love the cozy vignettes. Do you do every single, like at the beginning? What if, you know, just structurally, like in between every like major scene, somebody describes something their dog sees right now, like, you know, just like make a dedicated space, or like, you know, you start each game with, what is your dog playing with? You know, what object has your dog found? What did your dog roll in? Like,
Where do you sleep?
yeah,
What space
like,
have you carved out? Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking it, and then I lost it, and I was like, I wanted to know so much more about like the inside of this space, and just having like that built in can be really helpful.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if that was like idle dreaming, like character setup and then kind of move to scenes. I don't know if that's the right order, but I think it's a great idea.
We even took a moment to describe what is actually going on in this den, like what's in this den, which I really liked. It almost feels like that's sort of what you're talking about. Like, let's just take a moment, if not to sort of elaborate on the drama, just sort of say, here's where we live now.
I was so excited that we have a roller rink. It was so amazing. That's one of my stars. I'm throwing that as a star for Lowell. Like, yes, let's definitely have a roller rink.
Right, it's because I have friends that their family owns a camp called EB Pines, and it has this crappy little campground, like built like little camp houses, but then you go across the street and they've got a roller rink with a concession stand, and just for no reason out there.
Trying to remember last time I was at a roller rink.
I've never been to a roller rink. I've been to an ice skating, but not roller rink.
In the 80s in Manhattan, there was a lot of birthday parties at roller rinks. Let's do Jane, you were started on stars. Any other stars besides the roller rink?
Again, David, you just embody Oatmeal so much. Like, I love it. And I loved kind of your physical acting, especially in your interactions with the little bird. I feel that character, like I know that character so well, and I just adore. And just the physical acting of like the thing in the mouth and the arm around, like each of those, you're expressing so much with the dog's body and talking about the dog's body, and I love that because that like plays into that tactile thing that I like so much. And then I want to give one for Scallop. I mean, I was just so glad that you jumped on the boat. It's like, you know, that was great. And I loved hearing what everybody was rolling in. That made me so happy.
Lowell, stars?
So I really kind of enjoyed that as an explication of the process, that whole sort of step in a couple of directions on the beach and kind of working out how we got to that. And that I kind of felt that was a nice collab, though, you know, we were kind of at a little bit cross purposes, but then we worked it out. And I dug that. I love Davy's enthusiasm and that whole moment of defending Oatmeal. And I could just picture Davy kind of staying at the doorway. I thought that was really good. Oatmeal's dedication and being willing to take that hook of that choice between the two things. I loved that. I thought that was a great moment, and I could feel the actual tension in Oatmeal of having to make that choice. And of course, Scallop jumping in the boat. And I also appreciate Dan being willing to take up and play that dumb accent that I started for the Fox. So that was great.
That's a legit forest accent.
Yes.
David, what do you got?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'll start with Jane. It didn't happen for very long, but the voice you put on and the characterization you had for Marmalade, my goodness, that was evil. I adored that so much, and I hope you play more Marmalade because that was absolutely menacing. Just that was really, really brilliant. And also the way that you were able to just flip right back into being like dopey, happy Davy, and you're kind of like this everyman hero who just is optimistic and wants everything to be okay, and it's just all characterized really, really well. And same thing actually in a lot of ways for Lowell, just the way that you characterized Marmalade worked incredibly well in that scene, and the way that you switch over to kind of adorably dumb Sparky. It's cool to see you guys be able to alternate between characters so effectively. That's something that I'm really very inspired by and very envious of. It's a cool skill. And then Dan, for your part, really two things. Number one, jumping in the boat like everyone else is saying, but also as kind of a facilitator, one of the things that really to me marks a good facilitator of a game is being able to manage pacing effectively. And we did this 2-hour session, which for role-playing games is really quite short. But we got through so much content. It was dense, and it felt like it was always moving forward, and there was never a point that I felt like things were really boring. And I get that this is a kind of a collaborative game with not a dedicated GM. But to your credit, Dan, I thought that you did a really, really brilliant job of kind of introducing ideas, inserting characters into scenes at exactly the right time when some kind of wrench needed to be thrown into the works. Like it stood out to me, I guess is what I'll say to keep it short. So that's what I would say.
I want to second that. And you managed to like segue out of that meta conversation in a super organic way. Like that was all very satisfying. And I want to second that.
Well, I'm going to star our whole group because these are some of the best NPCs I have ever played with. And I was almost at the towards the end, I was like, okay, I think we should do a scene with Volpe and Marmalade. And then I realized those are not player characters, and I really wanted to see a confrontation between the fox and the cat. And then I realized that's sort of not how this game works. But so kudos to us for creating this fantastic set of supporting cast that I hope get their spin-off shows. Can we switch to wishes, Jane? What do you have for what do you want to do differently next week, or what do you want to try next week?
I'm gonna have to give some long, hard thought to like how much like trouble I'm willing, like, because like obviously I could just jump in the water and rescue Scallop. But do I actually want to do that? And I want to have like the meta conversation about where that goes. I want to like stay in the meta before I jump in and try and rescue, because I don't know if that's the most interesting thing. It's the easy answer, and I can just do it. But my wish is that we talk about that and try and find something a little bit more interesting than that.
I'll tell you
part
what.
of why I delayed doing it.
I'll tell you what I'm hoping will come of that, because I'm also a rescue dog, and I think we have to race. Because we haven't had a chance to like really compete.
Yeah, I think that's true. And then another thing that I really want is I want to just talk about dog games. Like I kind of was trying to chase Oatmeal, and it was not the right moment for that. But I want to like make a space for us to play fetch or chase a rabbit or something like a game.
Something you said just made me think, and I want to say it out loud before I lose it. These games are all about sort of having these playbooks, or certainly the way outside belonging games are structured. You have these playbooks with these distinct moves. And I really had a good time kind of thinking of the different kinds of dogs that I've had and that I've met in my life. But at the same time, dogs are, in some ways unique and in some ways very overlapping. And it made me wonder about being a little bit more flexible with the moves so that at some point, even though we're all distinct personalities, we're all going to engage in a game in a certain way, because dogs can be very playful with each other. Just made me think of, because this is a game about dogs, does it want to be restructured to be not quite so strict in terms of who gets to do what moves? But we were in the middle of wishes. Lowell, what have you got for wishes next week?
I like the NPCs, and I want to see more of those. I'd like for us to find some kind of détente with the goals, or at least change the shape of the interaction between them. I'd like to see some weather. That's another thing I'd like to see, because you know how dogs, cats react to weather. I think that would be a very interesting, like even if it's just an interlude scene. I got to thinking about that when Jane was asking about the boats and what had happened with those. So I guess that's what I have off the top of my head.
And David.
This is really kind of a personal aspiration that I'm going to be working on for myself, but just getting a bit more assertive and comfortable with adopting setting elements and taking on more of an authorial GM kind of role is just something that I'm going to be working on personally. It's nothing to do with the group as a collective. But as for going forward in this story, I like the idea of incorporating some weather. I think that Oatmeal would 100% get scared to death by a thunderstorm, and that would be a great deal of fun for me to do. I would also, I think, going forward, like to start setting up the rivalry between Oatmeal and Marmalade, and there's a score to settle there, and I'd like to see how that plays out. And maybe next time, kind of as the goal story arc sort of dies off, we also kind of cross taper in the introduction of the big bad predator in the woods.
Yep.
And kind of introduce that threat next time and make it more of a focal point.
I wish I had specific wishes, but I'm having a really good time, and I feel like I'm learning a lot, and I am just unbelievably grateful with all of you, not just engaging in the game, but engaging in the design of the game too. So thank you all for that. To Jane's earlier point, I've captured the wishes, but I've also rendered some questions based on those wishes. So sort of stealing as some direction from Microscope, I've set up our agenda with 5 questions. So if you want to peek in the notes and elaborate or add or change, feel free to do that before next session, but that's not required. Otherwise, I think we're done. I hope you all have good weeks, and I will see you next week.
Take care, guys.
Bye, y'all.